Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather. Today we're doing something super fun. We are making a modified Lindsport Mini Backpack from Lynn's Handmade. I will link the pattern down below as well as anything else that I can remember where I bought it from. That will be linked down below also. We are modifying the bag slightly today by making it a smaller size. So it's already listed as a mini backpack, so we're making a mini backpack version, I guess we're gonna go with. It is done at 80%. I'm gonna pick it up for you in 1 second. We also modify the interior slip pocket and the back exterior pocket pieces. So this is what we're doing today. Look at her. So cute. So we omit the back zip pocket, and then on the inside, it's hard to see, but I make a much bigger slip pocket, and I do talk about how to do that. It's sewn into our seams, so it's not the smaller box that is in the pattern. So I do talk about that. Everything else though is the same, just in a small, adorable, fun, purse size mini backpack pattern. Let's get into it. All right, so let's go through our materials quickly. We'll start down here. So these are all the pieces we need for our zipper and our gusset. So we have our number 5 zipper. We have 2 zipper pulls. And those are from Amazon, so I will put the link to those below. And then we have our 2 exterior zipper panel cuts, our 2 lining zipper panel cuts. And so our exterior, sorry guys, our exterior is, I think it's color Stonewash. It's a denim, like a distressed denim from Oh So Pretty Custom Fabric. And this is a waterproof canvas. And I don't remember where it came from. Oh, awful. That's awful. But that's what we're using. So these are our interior zipper panels and our exterior gusset piece, our lining gusset piece. And so that will make up our zipper panel and our gusset. And then over here, we have everything we need to make our front little bump out pocket. So again, same number 5 zipper tape, 1 zipper pull. We have our gusset pieces, our exterior and our interior. And then we have 1 exterior cut, 2 interior cuts. And this is going to be our slip pocket. So it's just a little accent color that sort of goes with our fabric. So this will be our slip pocket for our small front pocket. Here we are going to go with a metal bag tag. I had these made off a shop on Etsy, and I would say, I don't remember what shop that is. I'd have to go back through all my order history, but if you just type in custom metal bag tags on Etsy, you're going to find a lot of really good places and just read the reviews. So that's where I got these made. We've been sewing in our bag tags, so I thought it'd be fun to do a metal one this time around. We have our front exterior piece with our big middle missing. We have our back exterior piece. We are doing a slip pocket. Oh, I wanted to note also at the end, I will remember. So we're going to do a slip pocket on the inside. This slip pocket is different than the slip pocket that is in the pattern. And so for this one, I basically took the pattern piece and just folded it down about 1.5 inches. And that's what I used for the slip pocket. So it's just a full panel minus the top part. And I prefer to have sort of like a big chunky slip pocket. We're not doing the zip pocket on the exterior back. So this pocket here will be our only really decent sized pocket besides our front pocket with the bump out and slip pocket, etc. So with that in mind, I made our slip pocket bigger than what's in the pattern. So pretty easily modified. And then both of our interior pieces are here as well. Now, one of the things that I did want to just go back to quickly, so we're doing this at 80%, like I had talked about before. And the pattern pieces those are easy. You just print everything at 80% on your printer in the settings. The only thing that I had to do was figure out what size zipper we needed, and I still don't know if I did that right. But I just took the size of the original zipper and I multiplied that by 0.8. That's because we're doing the pattern at 80%. 0.8 is 80% of a measurement, and that's what we cut our front bump out pocket zipper for. Okay, so again, this is the only thing you have to measure, and you just want to multiply the measurement in the pattern by 0.8 to get that 80%. So that's how we did that. We're going to use a waterproof canvas binding that matches our interior. And this came from Wonderground Fabrics, which I will link. Also from Wonderground Fabrics, all of our webbing that we're using today. So these are going to be our backpack straps. These are our rectangle ring connectors, our carry strap, and this is going to be for the back of our backpack that it's like our handle. I don't know. I forget what it's called. But it goes on the back of the backpack like this. And you'll see we're going to have our little carry, our backpack straps. Everything's going to sort of come out of underneath that. So that's what that is. Also from Wonderground. And then the last few things here. We don't need swivel hooks, but we do have 2 sliders and 2 rectangle rings, and these are in nickel. These are part of a bigger pack that I get from Amazon. The swivel hooks with it are so strong, and I'm such a big fan. So I'll link those below as well, and that's what these sort of came from. And that's it, guys. That's our materials for today. So we're gonna get going on our interior back panel and our exterior back panel so that we can get those babies put together first. Okay, so we are over at the machine, which is a Juki TL2010Q. We're using Tex 35 weight thread from Wizardry Stitchery. And what we're going to do first is just make our pocket. And so to make your pocket, you just want to put the right sides of your fabric together. And we're just going to combine these with a 1/4 inch seam allowance right at the top. And we are going to backstitch at the beginning and the end. You could clip across the top if you wanted. I chose not to because I knew I could just keep it together with my fingers. Okay, and then we're just pressing the top. And we're going to put a top stitch in. We'll probably actually put 2. I like the way that a double top stitch looks on a slip pocket. So we went with 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll come back and we'll do a 1/4 inch top stitch. There we go. I just like the band sort of look that it creates. Not necessary, but I'm a fan. And you're gonna, if you've never made this bag, you'll be surprised at how quickly it goes. I have made this bag before, just not this size or with the front pocket. So we'll be making that front bump out pocket together for the first time. All right, and then we're just gonna line up our sides. We are going to clip this and we're going to baste it so that it becomes all one piece in preparation for joining with the back exterior panel. And a base is just a top stitch that will never be seen, basically. Okay, so there we go. There's our nice big full-size slip pocket that will be the back interior of our backpack. So we're going to set this to the side for now. And now we're going to take our exterior back panel piece, and I've marked the centers. I've also drawn a line for the top of our webbing that's going to hold everything in place. And I have marks down here per the pattern for where we're going to put our rectangle ring connectors. And our rectangle ring connectors, we have already burned the edges. So to put those together, 1, and 2, and so when we get to it, we're going to sew these in place down here, which we'll be doing after we build the top. So we have some double-sided tape. And we're just going to place it at the top and the bottom. Now this is 1.5-inch webbing. I like the look of like the chunkier back panel piece. Okay, we're just peeling our tape. And then we're just going to line up and press down. Okay. Now we have, this is our handle connector, and so we want this to go down so we're just going to peel up Okay, so there's one. And I'm just doing a 1/2 inch over from the center on each side. And putting it all the way down to the bottom, basically. Resticking. Now our handles, we did not make these smaller by 80%, so they're the same measurement as what's in the pattern, and that's important because we still want the backpack to fit us as a normal person. And so, you know, we don't want our straps to be too small. And I might actually, we're putting these in at an angle. Right next to, we want to make sure they stay out of our seam allowance later. So we're just going to mark We're going to trim that off. And so basically we're just marking where we're sort of overhanging our handle. We're going to trim that and we'll burn it. Then we're going to just, again, pop off our double-sided tape. There we go. And that will make a nice shape for our backpack strap. And it will stay out of the way when we are sewing everything together, which is going to be important. And then we'll do our other one in the same way. Going to use our chalk and our piece that we already cut to make sure they're the same. And it is important that you do the burn here so that it doesn't fray over time. And we're just going to lift. There we go, see? That is exactly what we want. And now what we're going to do, see how fast this is? Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew a box all the way around, and then we're going to come through, we're going to do a second line, and the only lines you'll actually end up seeing are the top, two bottom. This will be in the seam allowance. So we're going to go back over basically our stitching as we make that turn. I am going to start on the side because you won't see our back stitching, since it'll be in the future seam allowance. Actually, let me cut off the extra first. So we're just from this side cutting off our extra webbing so that we know where we can sew. Okay. Oh, these colors are cute. Don't you love when some color choices come together? Such a fan. Okay. I always feel better once we get that one line in there. Okay, and then just across the bottom. And again, we're not going to see this, so they don't have to be evenly spaced. All right, so there we go. We are sewn on. You could put rivets if you'd like, but I know that we have caught our webbing in multiple places. Do I want to put rivets? All right, I think we'll put them. So you can see we've stitched on both sides. Let's see, I'm just looking at my rivets, sorry guys. I think maybe, why don't we'll do one more line of stitching on the top and the bottom, and then I think we'll be good without rivets. We're good like this, but now I'm thinking about it, and here we are. Okay. All right, 6 rows of stitches. We're good now. No rivets. And this is called a tank foot. Some people ask me, I didn't talk about it at the beginning, but it's called a tank foot, and I got it from Soulful Therapy. It's called a tank foot for high shank machines. They don't have them in stock right now, so I don't know. I don't know if they're coming back, but that is what the foot is on my machine. Just rolling these for now. These can get in the way sometimes. We definitely don't want that. All right, so now is the time that we can take our rectangle ring connectors, and we're just going to line them up over the markings we made. And you can't see the markings we made. I used a silver marking tool, so apologies. Just want to try to make sure they're overhanging in the same amount. That way they end up being the same length. And it looks like they are, so we're just going to baste these on. We are basting around a corner, so it's not the easiest. Missed the bottom, so I'm just going to do a straight line. Perfect. See. Oh, I got that one better, I think. Let's see. Did they move? I think this one moved. We're going to unpick. You just really want these to be even. So we're gonna unpick a bit and re-sew this side on. Felt like maybe it moved, but these are so difficult. It happens. Sometimes we need to, sometimes we need to unpick. And that is okay. I'd rather fix it than have it be wrong. And the fix is easy, or it should be. Let's go from this side, you guys. All right, unpicked. We're gonna fix this. Again, this is, I mean, it probably would have been okay, but I didn't like it. There we go. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. That's much better. I think I'm just gonna do a straight line to hold it in place first. Let's try that. Let's try that. There we go. All right, we're gonna go with yes on that. We're going with yes. And we're gonna be really careful when we're going around the corners to make sure that everything sort of stays where we want it to. And as long as we're careful, I think it'll be okie dokes. All right. Now what we want to do is combine our back panels, wrong sides together, match up our midpoints. And this is a bound bag, so I showed you the binding at the beginning. I think binding is so easy and fun. Makes really cool bags, and I think everyone should try it. We're just putting some clippies in. All right, we're gonna sew this side up so we can sort of see everything that we have going on, because there's a lot. You don't want to sew over anything, and we're just gonna baste these pieces together. There we go. Now our front and back panel are basted together. Super cute. All right. We're gonna set this to the side for now. And the next thing we're gonna do is work on the front bump out pocket. All right, so we are back with all of our pieces that we need to build out our front bump out pocket. I'm just going to mark the centers of this interior quickly because I forgot. I like to mark with snips. So I've marked the centers of this. I've also marked where our gusset seams should go. I've burnt the edge of our zipper. And we have our bag tag over here too because we're going to put that on our front bump out pocket. First, we're going to attach our slip pocket to our back interior. And so to do that, this is super easy because it gets sewed into all the seams. You just fold wrong sides together. I'm just going to put a couple clippies, keep this where we want it. And then we're just going to go ahead, we're going to do the same double stitch, so the 1/8 and the 1/4 top stitch along the top of our slip pocket. And you could just do the one, but we did the two on our other slip pockets, so just keeping it similar, same style. Trimming and burning. Okay. And then we just take it, this is a very simple build. We just take it and we're going to make it so it's even. Attach the slip pocket to our panel. We're just going to trim off the extra. Okay, so now when we sew this on, we're going to go around, down, we're going to go up, over, down, and over to create one larger pocket and one smaller pocket. There are different ways that you could do this. You can make 3 pockets, you could keep it as one. I'm thinking like a lipstick or mascara or something would be good over in the small pocket, so that's what we're going to roll with. And I'm just catching the bottom and then the top of our previous stitching. We're going to go over 1 stitch and then back down. And there we go. 2 separate slip pockets. So that's all set. We're going to set this to the side for now. We're going to work on putting together our zipper gusset. So I've marked the centers on our zipper already as well. We're adding our number 5 zipper pull just right there to the center. Our zipper tape is wider than our gusset piece, so we're just going to line up right in the middle. And our exterior is face down. Our interior will be face up. And we want a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now this seam allowance does matter, so you do want to pay attention to it. It's going to make the size of your pocket gusset, the fit of it, really make a difference. Okay, and then we're just separating, pulling back, and we're going to do a top stitch. Okay, and then just like any other zipper panel or anything like that you're making, you're going to pull up your exterior, again, right side facing in, and you're going to pull up your interior that same way, so that right sides are actually touching each other, or they're facing each other, I should say. And we're just lining up in the middle. Okay, and then again, we're flipping, and we're going to put the same top stitch that we did on the other side. Okay. You could baste these together, but they're so small that I think I'm going to pass on that. I am going to find the center though. So I'm just matching up where our gussets meet. Making some small clips on both sides, right in the center. Okay, Now we want to turn this. We also want to make sure our zipper opens to the right and closes to the left. So we want our little arrow side of our zipper to be going to the left. We're just going to match up our center mark with our exterior. And our center on the bottom. And then I'm going to find our gusset marks and line those up. This will make sure that our pocket is even and that our zipper ends at the same spot, so that's important. I don't like clipping into zipper tape, so I actually think we're going to pull out the stapler to staple the top. But before we do that, we'll just nest in our bottom corners. So it does look like we'll need to make a few snips. And we just snip into the gusset, which will help the vinyl exterior and the fabric interior fan out over the corner. Which will just help with the fit. Okay, so that allowed us to just work it around our bottom corners. Now let me grab this stapler. And I got this off Way Whack, and then we just have a staple remover because we are going to have to take out our staples after the fact. We'll just come up here and put in some staples. So just ever so close to the edge, and this will help keep our zipper tape where we want it when we are removing clips and sewing. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and that will make sure that it doesn't move. We'll keep our stapler out in case we need it later. So now we're just going to go ahead and sew this on. Making sure that we don't sew over the staples because those are metal. Going to grab our screwdriver to make sure our pieces stay where we want them. And if you made slits, make sure that you are stitching so that the slits don't come through your stitching. Maneuvering the fabric underneath our presser foot. We're just going to move our zipper pull out of the way. All right. Now before we remove our zippers, I am just going to flip cute little pocket. Oh, yes, look at that, it's so cute. All right. Before we move on to the next step, let's take out our staples. And if you have never used a stapler before when you're sewing, try it out. I use it for when we make like shaped patterns that don't have a gusset, like a zipper gusset, a panel. So a lot like, I use it for stuff like this. I think it works awesome. It's a great way to make sure that nothing moves out of place. And sort of allows you to manipulate your zipper. You see I was able to sort of fold the extra out of the way without worrying about it. One more, guys. One more. It's a cool technique, though. I seriously suggest you try it if you haven't. Okay. All right. So now we take our interior panel that does not have the slip pocket on it. Oh, actually, we got to do our bag tag first. That was almost a disaster. Hold please. Here we go. So metal bag tags are cool because they can add some bling to your project. They're also really easy to put on. So here we go. Just gonna reflip this quickly. I want to put the bag tag down here in the bottom corner. I'm not always the best at centering things. And so if I can, I like to offset so that if it's not exactly center, it doesn't sort of ruin the look of the whole bag. So if you know you're like me and can't find a center to save your life, try offsetting. All right, so I just pulled the prongs, and basically these metal bag tags, they go through a backing. And so I'm just going to take about where I want it to go. I think is about right there. Just making marks where I know I need my slits to go. I'm going to take my seam ripper and I'm just very lightly going to rip a spot for my slit. You just want to not rip too much, but enough, basically. There we go. See? There we go. Now we just have to, actually, let me grab some scrap Decaville. This will just give it some stability. It's not like a magnet snap or anything, so it's not going to be pulled on. I just still like it to be stable back there. And then we're just going to add our Decaville, or scrap Decaville heavy. And our back plate, and we're going to go inwards. Make sure it's still where we like it, and it is. And then we have our good old hockey tape. We're just going to cover it. And this will just help us to make sure the metal doesn't interfere with our canvas lining. All right, now here we are. So we're going to take our lining piece, we're going to match up our centers. So this is right sides together, but our lining piece is wrong side down. Our exterior is right side up. This is where pockets like these can get a little tricky because you have to like smush and just hope that your smush is going to make it through what you're doing. We're also going to have to sort of jump up and move our zipper pull. So that will be important to remember. We're just clipping everything in place. Actually, I'm going to move the zipper pull first because we're going to start down here and go up and around. Oh, that's going forever. There we go. So we'll just smush that in, our extra zipper. You definitely don't want to sew over that. I would say this is probably the most difficult part of the whole pattern. But I think it's going to make, I've never made it with this before, I think it's going to make a super cute little backpack. Bump out. Alright, so we're just going to, again, have to keep in mind that we're going to need to move that zipper pull. So we're leaving a turn hole in the bottom so that we can flip this when we're all done. So we're going to start sewing at this clear clip. We're going to go around the corner all the way up, and we're going to stop sewing at this second pink clip. I can feel that my zipper is smushing, so I'm just pushing that down as we go. Okay, now we're getting to our zipper pull. And so we do want to move that. And we just want to make sure it gets past our foot. And it is. And we're just gonna button back up here. All right, so you can see we've left the bottom open and we are gonna turn that. I'm just gonna clip off some of our extra material, not the zipper tape, but the material itself. This will help us have some crisp bottoms, crisp corners. It's like the moment of truth. Okay. Let's see if that did it. So you're just going to reach in your turn hole. Pull everything out. Gently. Look at how cute did that turn out. I'm just gonna make sure we smush and pull out our corners. All right, so that is the most difficult part of what we're going to do. It looks like we missed a little bit in our corner here. So our zipper tape didn't make it. All right. We're going to turn back around. That's okay. Which corner? This one here. So this corner, for some reason, I see. The zipper tape needs a little extra loving. Didn't make it in the seam allowance all the way. And so we're just going to fix that quickly by pulling just that corner. I can feel the zipper tape. We're just going to go slightly more in on that corner. See if that fixed our problem. And it did. Now we're sewn in. Good to go. All right. So the next step before we start to place this on our front panel, which we're going to have to do some markings for also, is top stitching so that we can close up our turn hole. So I've just turned it in on itself and we've pushed the middle in. So we're just going to go around and top stitch our pocket piece. I'm going to start down here at the bottom because I want to make sure that we close our turn hole. I'm just hand cranking through what I can see is definitely a bulky part over there in the corner. I just don't want to skip a stitch on a top stitch. It's also going to be bulkier by where your gusset seam is. just taking my time. Again, it will be seen, so we just want to make sure it looks as nice as possible. Going to hand crank again as we come to the second gusset. Cutting off, sorry guys if my head is in the way. I just really want the top stitch to come out nicely. All done. Oh yeah. So that closed off our turn hole down here. So now you can no longer see any of the raw inside pieces or anything like that. We're good to go. Good to go. Okay. I need to make a couple of marks. We just need to mark the center. We still have the center marked on our zipper. So we're just taking the pattern piece. We marked our centers. Still have our centers marked on our pocket. And now there's a cute little bump out pocket. All right, now what we're gonna do we're going to match our center. That does not. All right, let me zip this up. It's not it, guys. Hang on. So we're like this. We want our pocket to go like that. And so that means, aha, I got it. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me. The instructions are clear. I am not. All right. We're going to mark our center, match our centers up. And so what we've done is we laid our pocket like it's going to look, and then we flipped it, and that's how we started to match. That's what I was missing, you guys. All right, let me take our other center marking. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. And now we're just doing like we always do. We're going to match up straight sides. And then we'll match up corners. Actually matches up really nicely. It is exciting. It means, I think, that we did something correct. Yay. Oh yeah, that's a perfect fit. Perfect, okay. How cool, you guys. I have never done a pocket like this. Like I said, I've made a bunch of these backpacks, but I omit this pocket because it looked terrifying to me. Once you figure out how to make it though, this is where it's at. Okay. And now we take this and sew it from this side. That's what I'm gathering. Let's see. I think. Is that what we do? Panel's supposed to be right side up, so we're gonna go for it. We're gonna baste. So we're just basting, we're just doing a basting stitch. Just gonna keep holding everything in place. Around this corner is quite difficult. I'm just going to re-put our zipper down there now that we're all done. Then we don't have to worry about it. Ooh, boy. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll open it. Maybe that will be easier. Hold, please. It's pretty bumpy. So let me, just give me 1 second to pull this open. See if that will help us. And it looks like it will. Okay, so we're going to sew with it open. I'll feel better once this is basted on, I think. Have you guys, for those of you who have made this bag before, is this like the moment when you start to feel better also? I totally get why you use a baste on this. It's definitely necessary. Okay, so and we're just going to close that zip. We're almost there, almost all the way around. Okay. Oh, it's on. It's not super pretty yet, but we got a little pocket. Cute. Okay, let's see if I can follow these instructions. So, again, guys, it's not the instructions. It's your girl unable to follow them. We're going to mark the centers. And it looks like we take our centers and match them up. I think. Maybe I didn't get it. My center marking has disappeared at the top. This is not good. So we want our pocket to lay. I think we're pretty close. Let's see. So we're going to clip, and then I'll take a look from the front, see if our slip pocket is straight, and if so, then I know we're pretty spot on. I think we're looking pretty good. We're gonna keep clipping, see what happens. Oh, that doesn't match up. So it looks like I got some extra going on down here. Especially on this side. The big part of what I want to make sure is just that our slip pocket inside is straight. And then I'm going to take a quick look at the pattern, really quick break, just to make sure I understand. Again, I've never done this before. We're doing it together so I can show you it can be done. We're going to take a quick read the pattern break, and then we'll be right back. All right, I spared you the details of me reading the pattern again, just to make sure. And we're just gonna go for it. It looks straight when I look at it from the inside. I think I'm just really second guessing myself because it is something I've never done before. We're just gonna go for it. It does say in the pattern that it helps when you keep your zipper open. So I know that I said, oh, this is better. It's better on purpose. That's what they say also. So we're going to read the instructions a little better. It's funny because when I make things for such a long time, I don't go back and look at the pattern necessarily, and so I just make it based off of memory. When I do that, I don't always remember what it says. So cool that I can do it off memory, not cool when I can't remember the instructions. Okay, so now we're doing a 1/4 inch around, and I'm starting on the side, not the bottom, because I have some thick corners down here. I'm gonna have to really smush those, and I just want to make sure everything else is basically, like the top part is in place, and I'm not gonna mess that up at all. So I'm starting on the side. You don't actually, there is no right or wrong place to start, but I typically start on the bottom, so this is just different for me. And I'm just making sure that as we go, we move our zipper coils out of the way. And those zipper coils really only become an issue around the corners. I'm just gonna move that out of the way. Now we're coming down to where it gets a little bit bulky. We're just gonna take our time. You can hear when my machine goes through that bulk. Just trying to avoid any sort of like excessive puckering. So I'm continuing to move our bulkiness just out of our way. So again, here in the corner, just gonna move try to flatten out our bulkiness away from what we're sewing so that it doesn't pucker too badly. Kind of keeping that away. And I can actually see we gotta fix a thread issue. So we're gonna redo that bottom corner. I could cut this out, but I'm not gonna, because this happens. This happens when people sew, and that's okay. It's still gonna look pretty. All right. So I am gonna say it looks like the issue with the stitching was here. So we're just gonna go over it. And our stitches, it's not our stitches, but it just sort of came apart a little bit. The thread. All right, I'm gonna trim some bulkies. Some excess off. And look at that. We have a functioning, cute little front bump out pocket. Now we have to top stitch around our pocket to keep that nice and flat. We're going to start at the bottom for this because less likely to see it. And we're just going to make sure we continue to pull our fabric away because adding this bump out has made our exterior fabric sort of want to go in, and we want it to go out. And we're just going to hand crank over our thick gusset piece like we've been doing. Take our time here. We want to have nice corners. Again, we're just going to hand crank over the gusset seam. All right, there we go. Push out a little bit. How cute is that? So cute. All right, done. I'm just gonna put this in the middle so we don't sew over it by accident. Now we are going to baste our front exterior and front interior together. And then you guys, we get to build our zipper panel and gusset, complete our backpack straps, and we'll have ourselves a new backpack. Now your exterior main panel might be a tad bit smaller now because of that pocket pull on it, but that's okay. We'll just sew exterior side up. And then we'll cut off our excess so that we make sure that we don't sew our pieces together when we're attaching our zipper panel and our gussets. Okay. All right, we're just basting. All right, this material, the exterior is stretchy, which can create an issue for you. I'm just going to unpick a corner here. I'm going to try to stretch it around the corner a little bit better. So if you get a material that is stretchy, like a vinyl that really shouldn't be because it's going to mess up your stitching, you can put SF101 attached to it, and that will take away your stretch. So I'm just going to unpick enough . Stretchy fabric is not good for sewing unless you interface it. And I'm just going to make sure I'm sticking very slowly. Going to use my screwdriver. Make sure everything stays flat. there we go. Fixed. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on this corner and see if I can re-stretch out my fabric so that, or my vinyl, so that it makes shunch, is not so puckery, and then I will trim, and we will come back together to put together our zipper, gusset, and panel pieces, and then we're almost done. Okay, it is zipper, panel, and gusset time. These are the last things that we have to put together before we start putting together our full bag. So here we're just going to take an exterior zipper panel and place it face down. We cut our zipper a little bit longer than we needed. So we're just putting it right there in the middle-ish. Okay, and then we're taking an interior panel and we're going to clip that. So this is right side up, right on in there. Make a nice little zipper sandwich. All right, go ahead and sew together. So this is a good example of what happens when you have a stretchy material. It outstretched like 1/4 of an inch. They started in the same spot and then did not end up in the same spot. And that's okay. We're just going to make sure we line up what we need to. You're going to finger press and then top stitch. We're not using material that irons, so we're not ironing. Just making sure we're pulling away from our zipper coils. Okay, one side done. We are going to have to line up with the side that didn't stretch because I'm going to cut off the other extra, or else we're going to end up with a gusset that's too big and we don't want that. Now, I did realize when we were sewing the other panel that we were dealing with the stretchy fabric, so I could have interfaced it at this injuncture. I did not, so that is my choice. So now we're just sort of making adjustments. I also hate interfacing, let's be honest. Who likes to iron all their pieces? Not this girl. Not this girl. It's okay though. We didn't put structure in this bag, so I was hoping it would be like a cute, slouchy little mini backpack, and that's what we're going for. So hopefully it all sort of goes in together, make something that makes sense. I'm going to sew from the canvas side. I'm gonna bind it. Why? I'm not winning it at bobbin roulette. So you need more than one bobbin for this bag, FYI. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this. I'm gonna finish up our zipper panel, cut off our extra, and then we will come back together so that we can add our gusset piece onto our zipper panel, and then add our entire zipper panel gusset duo to our backpack, start putting it together. We fixed our bobbin, and it's so funny because I was like, I should check that, and I didn't. So here we are. Anyways, we fixed our bobbin. We sewed on our second zipper panel. I also basted our panels together, and to avoid some of that stretch, I did it with the vinyl side down and the waterproof canvas side up, and then I just sort of clipped off anything that was extra. We do have our 2 zipper pulls on. We have melted the ends of our zipper tape. So we are ready to put our gusset on. So we're just doing right sides together. For our exterior to exterior, and then you're also doing right sides together for your interior pieces. So it's easy to remember it that way. You're always going right sides together. We are gonna put this together with the seam allowance given in the pattern. We're just going to do a top stitch. So we're pulling our pieces away, and we're just putting a nice little top stitch in here. You do obviously just want to make sure you put your zipper pulls on before you move on to the gusset stage of this bag making. I have 100% forgot zipper pulls before. It happens to the best of us. Okay. Now again, right side to right side. And then we're taking the right side of our interior and matching that with the right side of our interior. And we're going to put this, sew this together the exact same way. Same seam allowance. And then we'll do a flip and a second top stitch. where we are pulling away that fabric. All right, so we are going to baste together our gusset pieces. We're gonna have to do it from this side. This will help stop the stretch when we put our gusset together, basting our panels. So again, we're going to go waterproof canvas side up. Got a bit off there, but that's okay. Now we'll do this side. And again, this is just sort of management to make sure that we get everything together the way it should be. We were way off, way off. We're gonna go again here. This is, again, just one of the struggles, but it's okay. It's not gonna ruin your bag. There are plenty of ways to deal with it. We're going to start again, a little in. Still missed that, but that's going to be okay. We'll make it work. So now we want to find our centers for the top and the bottom. Also, again, this is just like my reminder that you can make absolutely anything work that you want. Just because something doesn't go perfectly, that you saw go perfectly for somebody else, does not mean that you can't sew. Or that you're not a successful bag maker. I'm just gonna have to be really mindful that I might have to cut slits into my waterproof canvas and not my exterior, which should fix sort of whatever's going on here. All right, we've marked our centers. We're gonna put our front on first. So we're turning our whole zipper gusset. We're gonna take our center markings and match those. And we're taking our center markings here and matching those. And then we're going to just go all the way around our gusset and make sure everything fits and we're clipped together. And then we'll come back together on camera. Okay, we are clipped together. Our gusset fits wonderfully. So now we're just gonna sew it on. Making sure we take our time. We're gonna go all the way around the bag. Just gonna grab my screwdriver, my handy dandy screwdriver. It's like my favorite tool. Just making sure that we keep everything where it belongs. Everything meaning the fabric. Our bag, of course. Here we're coming to the gusset. We're going to take our time like we've been doing this whole time. Okay, now if you've never made a bound bag before, this is like the moment where you can see if you got it right. It's like a test. How's it looking? And really, we just want to make sure that we got some good curves. Oh my gosh, yes, look at her. All right, so this turned out great. Now, you could add your other side right now and then do binding on both sides later. I prefer to bind first on one side, so I'm totally finished, and then add the other side. And so I'll just walk you through that process quickly. I'm just looking for anything we might need to trim off. So we're using this 1-inch waterproof canvas, and we're basically just going to be in half. So we folded it in half. We're going to try to keep that fold. And the goal of binding is, yes, to provide structure, but also just to sort of cover up those raw edges and your stitching. And give it a finished look. I typically use double fold bias tape, so I thought it would be fun to switch it up a little bit. Use something different this time around. Also, this color matches just perfectly with what we're doing. Couldn't resist it. And so I'm just making sure that I'm covering everything on both sides as we go. You could add double-sided tape also, which would help you sort of keep it in place. You guys know I'm not a double-sided tape girl. I mean, I use it when I have to, but I'm pretty terrible at it. So there's that. I'm just going to do a little trim. Of our excess vinyl there. That will help us make sure our waterproof canvas lies as flat as possible. And this is not stretchy or anything like that, and so it is going to be a little more difficult to get it around the corners. Still doable. Okay, the great thing about binding too is you don't have to be super particular. Your bag is already sewed together. So this is not sewing your bag together. It's just finishing it off. And we're just going to go slightly over where we started. We're going to do a little fold in. There we go. Our binding is attached. So now we're just going to go ahead and stitch it all in place. Here would be a good place to use a matching thread, but we're going to be okay with the black. You don't really see the interior of bags too much. All right, there we go. Our binding is on, covering up our raw edges. We're just gonna trim our threads and do what we usually do. We'll do the burn. Now you're gonna attach your back panel exactly the same way. So you will put your exterior inside. We're gonna make sure all of our straps and all of that stay out of the way. We'll clip, centers, put everything on, and then we'll do our binding. I'm going to do that off camera because it's the exact same process that we just did. I am going to do that, and then we'll come back. We will finish off our backpack straps, so we'll attach our sliders and our rivets, and then we'll be able to see this beautiful bag all done. All right, we're sewn together. We have our back side. All of our gusset stuff is all set. We turned our bag. Not going to show you just yet, but we need to finish our backpack straps before we can be actually all done. So I have our Cam Snaps rivet press over here. We're going to have to make some holes. So we have our hole cutting die that we're going to put on. All right, so we're taking our backpack strap and our sliders, and we have to put on, we're putting through both sides like this, and then we're going to take our end and pull it up through the rectangle ring. And we're going to almost like make a little sandwich. And we're going back up through both sides of our slider, but on the inside, just like so. And then we want to attach back to what we just pulled through. And that's what's going to give us the ability to make our straps bigger, longer, etc. So again, we're just coming back down towards the same piece that we were just utilizing. I'm just going to take my silver marking tool and mark. We're going to do 2 rivets. Keep this in place very good. You could also sew this if you want. I'm not sure if it shows up on camera or not, but we have 2 holes, 2 marks for holes that we're going to make. We're just going to press. Press. And then we just want to take out our rivets. So those are caps. Here's one. And the other. And there we go. We're just going to cap it for now. And then we're going to do the other strap. The same way. And then we'll press them. So through our slider. Through our rectangle ring and up. Make a sandwich. Go through and then back down. Towards the end that we were just working with, like so. And we're just going to make sure that we keep about the same overhang. That looks pretty good. Silver marking tool. And you can measure. I'm just eyeballing. Whatever works for you though. Okay. Grab rivets again. All right, so now we just need to set our rivets. Oh, this is a bad cap. So we're going to remove our hole punch set. We're going to place back in our rivet setting, double cap. This is typically what just stays in here. And then we're going to set our rivets in place. So that is one side good to go. And now we're just gonna mark the other, we're gonna set the other side, and then we're gonna head on over to our finish table to see what our bag looks like. Okay, rivets set. Let's go take a look. All right, we have just finished our backpack straps. So we're all riveted in place. We're good to go. Those aren't coming out. You could have sewed those if you wanted. And you guys, we did it. Now, obviously, I had talked through how I had never made a pocket like this before. But how cute is she? You can throw a few little things in there. We've got our lip gloss, lipstick pocket. And I'm such a fan of how these colors came together. And how everything goes. The top stitching, everything. We have our cute little carry handle. I'll put this backpack on for you in a second too and hope that we can make it work. We have our interior, which is pretty simple. You can see our binding on both sides. That matched really well. We've got our larger modified slip pocket back here. So it's a good place for a phone. That way your phone's not just hanging around in there. We don't have a zip pocket, and again, if you remember at the beginning, we did not do the exterior zip. I like to keep it off on a bag that we're making a little bit smaller, make it a little different. Let's see if we can throw her on. Oh, no, let's see. Can we, oh my gosh. Okay. There we go. How cute is this little size? It's perfect. Perfect for a trip or a park or an everyday bag. The carry handle is great. The straps, we kept the same length even though we modified the pattern. That's important because you still want it to fit. If you made the straps 20% smaller, it would be 20% smaller on your bag. So on your back, you don't want that. But oh my God. Everything else we did the same. We used the same seam allowance. Lynn's Handmade makes awesome patterns, so I would definitely check it out. And you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I like to make bags smaller. I like small things. And so I was like, you know, let me try to make just like a little something out of this. And it came out so good, you guys. I'm sorry, our metal bag tag is like, you can see it shining there. But even that worked out well. You could have put it here. I could have put it here. Anywhere, but not good with centers. Here we go. If you have any questions about anything that I did today, any tactic that I used, or if you were like, oh my God, I can't believe she messed up so much and made a video. That's life, right? That's why I make these videos. I don't consider myself an expert, but I think that every day we learn something new, and the way to learn something new is by mistakes. And so if you see me do something, maybe it'll stop you from doing it, or maybe you've done it and you're like, all right, I don't feel so bad now, because that's how I feel when I see people make mistakes as well. So again, thank you for joining me as we made this adorable little Lindsport extra mini backpack together, and I will see you soon.